jokey. And, you know, when I imitate Biden, because he can't find his way off a stage, as you all know, he makes a speech that lasts usually about a minute and a half because the octane starts to wear off quickly. You ever notice he starts off strong? Within about 2 minutes, he can't talk anymore. And then he walks off. You ever notice he always goes like this? Then he comes back up to the mic, and he's looking. He's totally lost. There's stairs all over the place. He can go there, here. He could jump off the front of the damn platform. But he always goes like this. And then there's a stair right there, right? Then he starts. The radical Democrat Party has waged war on black families for many, many decades. Think of it. It's really 100 years. It's a century. They've controlled these cities for 100 years. Hard to believe. I said, can't be. It is. They've controlled. And look at what. You take a look at Baltimore. You take a look at New York. You take a look at Chicago. You take a look at all of these places. Take a look at what's going on in the West Coast. Take a look at what's happening. And they've controlled these cities for 100 years. And nothing happens. They're slum areas. They're dangerous. Nothing has happened. And we're going to change it. We're going to change it.
I'm going to play just one more
Sure.
bit of what Trump said tonight.
Oh, God.
These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones, you see. That's how far I've come. That's how far I've come. That's a long way, isn't it? These lights. We've come a long way together.
I mean, I don't even know what that means.
Well, I was waiting for him to throw gold sneakers into the audience. I mean,
all right, guys, so we got to talk about CNN and their panel of paid black liberal propagandists who are upset and mad about the fact that Trump is making strides with the black community. In fact, if you believe the polls, and that's a big if the election was held today, Trump would have the most black votes for a Republican since the civil rights era, okay? As it looks like black people are looking to abandon the Democrat Party for a variety of reasons. First and foremost, Democrats have not fulfilled any of the promises that they've made to black people in regards to what they're going to do. Also, on top of that, when you look at issues like illegal immigration and how it has shown up to some of these inner liberal cities like Chicago and New York, a lot of black people seeing the writing on the wall in regards to the Democrats' policies when it comes to immigration. You can see how soft on crime the Democrats have become in some of these liberal cities that have negatively affected black folk. Then if you take a look at the economy and the fact that the economy is just objectively worse for a lot of people under Biden and Trump, yeah, I mean, we can all see why black people, like a lot of people in this country, are abandoning the Democrat Party and saying that, you know what, we need to look in a different direction. However, we don't know for sure if this is happening and how prevalent it actually really is until votes are cast. And I say that because, you know, we kind of heard the same thing going into the 2020 election about the black vote, and it didn't really happen, okay? Don't get me wrong. Trump did well relative to most Republicans when it comes to the black vote, but it's not really all that much, okay? I'm hoping that we see at least 20 to 30% of black people vote for Trump in the 2024 election. That would be real progress, okay? Because 10%, that's not going to cut it, right? We all know black women are going to vote for Joe Biden no matter what at a 95% clip. But I'm hoping that at least when it comes to black males, if we can get black males voting for Trump at a 30, 40, maybe even 50% clip, that would be real progress. So until then, CNN is fuming, right? They're fuming over the fact that Trump is actually reaching out to black voters. He did a speech at the Black Conservative Federation in South Carolina, and he made jokes while also exposing Joe Biden as a racist who hates black people, which I think is, you know, probably accurate. I don't know. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But that's essentially what Trump was doing. He was flipping the narrative. He was like, no. Biden is actually the guy that don't really like black people too much, despite what the mainstream liberal media says. And of course, again, CNN is upset. They get their black propagandist, Abby Phillip, to attack Trump and to say, no, Trump is actually the real racist. And this is basically the gist of our modern day politics. So without further ado, I want to react to this clip from Abby Phillip. So let's get into it.
Good evening. I'm Abby Phillip in Washington. And just moments ago in South Carolina, Donald Trump accused the sitting president of the United States of hating black people.
It's the only thing he's really been good at his entire career. You know what that is? Being a racist, because he's a racist. Biden spent years palling around with notorious segregationists.
Donald Trump made that remark in South Carolina while making a pitch to the core of the Biden coalition, black voters. Now, Donald Trump failed to mention a few important things there. He was the guy who played footsie with white nationalists after Charlottesville. Donald Trump...
No, he didn't. This is a lie, right? Trump did not play footsie with white nationalists. What does that even mean? You notice how she's being vague about it, right? Instead of being specific about exactly what that means, is because, again, she's just making it up, right? They're just making it up.
Was the guy who had to be asked over and over again to distance himself from David Duke, the literal grand wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. And the actual Trump sales pitch to black voters was even simpler than that. Biden bad, Trump good.
And I'm thrilled to be here tonight with crooked Joe Biden's absolutely worst nightmare. Hundreds of proud, black, conservative American patriots. They shouldn't be doing well because, honestly, they've done a lousy job for you. They've done a lousy job for you. They've done a lousy job for everybody. But for black Americans, they have done a very poor job. If you want strong borders, safe neighborhoods, rising wages, good jobs, great education, and the return of the American dream, then congratulations, you are a Republican. It's pretty simple.
Trump says that he's not going to take the black vote for granted. He says under the last 4 years of his presidency, he achieved the lowest African-American unemployment rate ever recorded. But it turns out that's not true. The all-time low for black unemployment was set by, you guessed it, Joe Biden.
Now, again, this is the biggest load of... I really want to curse so bad right now. I really do. Bro, I want to curse this woman out right now for telling this blatant lie, okay? Because she knows that what Trump was talking about is at the time, Trump had set the record for the lowest black unemployment rate at 5.2%. You're talking about the black labor force participation rate reaching 63.2%. That is the highest that it's been since the 2008 recession. So not only were black people doing well in regards to unemployment, okay, they had the lowest unemployment at that point, okay, at that time, right? She knows what Trump was talking about. She just ignores it. But they were also willing to work more, okay, had more labor force participation than since 2008, okay? Now, this was better than Obama, who's supposed to be the first black president, right? But Trump seemed to do a lot better. His economy seemed to do a lot better. His Republican policies, economic policies, his conservative policies seemed to work better for black people than the liberal policies did, right? For example, the poverty rate for black Americans reached record lows as well. A total of 1 million black Americans lifted themselves out of poverty from 2016 to 2019. Over that same period of time, real median household income for black families rose over $4,000 after falling over the previous 14 years. Okay, so we're talking about from Bush to Obama. Okay, median household income for black families was falling. But all of a sudden under Trump, it rose, right? Started to rise. Rose over $4,000. Also, when you talk about black home ownership under Trump, that skyrocketed to 47%, okay, which is a mark that had not been reached since the 2008 recession. So again, clearly and obviously you can see that under the Trump administration, just looking at the raw economic numbers, black people were doing very, very, very well. A lot better than they had been doing under Obama and Bush and many presidents before that. Okay, and this is why Trump comes out and says that, yes, I have been the best president for black people in a long, long, long time. I think he says in all of history, which I mean, hey, you know, I think that might be debatable, but still, right? I don't blame him for thinking that way because, again, that's just the raw numbers. I mean, we're not even talking about the HBCU funding. We're not even talking about opportunity zones. We're not talking about the First Step Act. I mean, black folks had a huge opportunity under Trump, right? And how did they reward Trump, okay, for all of this, right? They decided to go out and to vote for Joe Biden at an 87% clip, right? That's how they rewarded Trump. Again, I personally think black America, we don't deserve Trump because Trump actually did listen, and his economy, his policies worked great for black people, and black people didn't reward him. But yet he's still out here trying to do at least some type of outreach. He's still out here trying to get the vote. And I hope at least this time around, black folks don't listen to the mainstream liberal media and you pay attention to the numbers, right? Look at the numbers, look at the facts, look at the data. Trump has been the best president for black people in a long, long, long time, period. In fact, Trump has been the best president for all of American people in a long, long, long time, period, right? I'm just saying, but we have to frame it this way because this is the only way that the woke revolutionaries will listen. This is the only language they speak, right? But again, when you look at some of these numbers, when you talk about home ownership, that's extremely important, okay? Because you know the woke revolutionaries always talk about what they always complain about so much when it comes to the so-called wealth gap, the inequality gap, home ownership, in which they complain about so-called systemic discrimination, racism, that is a result of Democrat policies. Like, for example, redlining, which came from FDR's New Deal, which is funny because the woke revolutionaries always complain about so-called systemic racism and these systemically racist policies on the books. But all of these so-called systemically racist policies, they come from Democrats, right? They come from Democrats. But yet they never point the finger at Democrats and call them racist. But again, what you're seeing here is that you have some issues, like, for example, again, when you talk about home ownership rates, which definitely affects wealth and the wealth gap and income inequality, Trump's policies help black people close the gap, but yet he doesn't get credit for it. You get black propagandists like this woman right here going on national television telling people, no, it's not Biden that's bad for black folks. Again, even though, a lot of Biden's policies, like, for example, the crime bill is what black folks complain about, okay, in regards to the so-called systemically racist policies that have held black people back. No, it's not him. It's Trump, right? It's Trump. Although I can't really name any policies from Trump that are systemically racist or that have held black people back or have unfairly targeted black people or put black people at a disadvantage. Can't name anything. And I guarantee you she can't name anything. But yet people like her never call a sellout, right? Even though she's clearly selling out, right? I mean, that's what she's doing. That's what she's doing. She's pretending to be pro-black when no, she's actually being pro-liberal, pro-progressive, because that's what it is. It's just amazing how that works.
In April of 2023 at 4.8 percentage points. And Trump also added this.
Unlike racist Joe Biden, I've spent my entire life working hand in hand with black Americans to create jobs, build buildings, invest in our communities. I want to tell you, a black worker is a great worker.
All right, well, let's put aside treating black people like a monolith, which he did over and over again.
Wait. Hold on. So black people are being treated like a monolith. That's what Abby Phillip is arguing that Trump did, which I don't think that he actually really did during that speech. But, you know, when Joe Biden comes out here and says, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, that's not a monolith, right? That's not treating black people as a monolith. Again, the whole Democrat Party, quite literally, is built on treating black people like a monolith, right? But yeah, Abby Phillip doesn't really seem to have any problem with that. She don't have any issues with that. How many segments has she run going after Joe Biden and Democrats for treating black people like monoliths? I guarantee you it's not very many. Right? I guarantee you it's not very many at all. How many segments has she run exposing Joe Biden as a racist? Probably not very many, even though Kamala Harris, the vice president, accused Joe Biden of being a flaming racist, a segregationist. Okay, some of the same claims that Trump made. But I guarantee you she really doesn't have anything to say about that. Again, it's amazing how that works.
Donald Trump's career has been marked by a detailed history of racism. He was sued in the 1970s for housing discrimination based on race. He settled that suit, and Trump also...
with no admission of guilt, by the way, right? No admission of guilt. But I think it's funny how Abby Phillip conveniently leaves out the fact that Trump has, in the past, back in the 80s and 90s, bragged about how he's hired so-called black people, minorities, to help build his buildings, aka provide them jobs, okay, and money, while at the same time also supporting black presidential candidates, like, for example, Jesse Jackson.
Donald Trump, for a few minutes, challenges and opportunities to embrace the underserved communities. Donald Trump.
We know that, right? He's a terrific guy. We love him, and I'm here for him. And the snow came, and I said, gee, nobody's going to show up. And look at this place, it's packed. Well, I'll just say a few words. I mean, Wall Street and New York City and this whole region is doing unbelievably well. I'm building a job on the West Side, which is the largest job ever approved by the New York City Planning Commission. You see it going up along the West Side Highway. It's almost 10 million square feet. It's 18 buildings, and it's really going to be something. I will tell you, a large percentage of the people, and especially in construction, that are building these great jobs are black and minorities, and I'm very proud of it. We have close to 25%, and I think the number's going up, and they do a great job. There are no better builders than we have in New York, and a big percentage of that is black and minority folks. So I just want to thank everybody in the room for being here. I look forward to some questions. And then I don't know how we're ever going to leave this building today, because if you look outside, it is terrible. But we'll figure a way. There's always a way. And thank you, Jesse, and congratulations.
And with all of that wealth, Trump wants a free ticket to the fair tonight.
Yeah, it's amazing. So while the mainstream liberal media always pushes this narrative that Trump was some type of flaming racist his whole career, they always conveniently leave out times and stories that show that, yeah, Trump is not a flaming racist, right? He's not a flaming racist. But again, this type of stuff that Abby, you know, her team will conveniently just leave out. They won't ever bring this up.
And Trump also gave a pretty stunning reason for why he says black voters like him now.
I got indicted for nothing, for something that is nothing. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against.
Yeah. So again, what Trump is doing there is that he's obviously playing up on this idea that, you know, black people feel like, okay, well, you know, we've been discriminated against and unfairly marginalized and stuff like that. And he's saying, well, that's happening to me too, right? So, I mean, hey, you know, it is what it is. I think that ultimately, at the end of the day, Trump's speech is pissing off the right people, okay? Black liberals are upset because they know that what Trump says is effective. He's been the most effective Republican presidential candidate when it comes to attracting so-called minorities, especially the Hispanics. And they don't like that. They really hate that, right? Trump is a threat to their rainbow coalition, right? I mean, that's basically what it is. So now they have to send their black liberals, okay, like Abby Phillip out and come out to try to debunk this idea that no, Joe Biden's actually the racist if you're talking about voting for people based off who's racist and who's not racist. But the fact of the reality is you really should be voting based off of actual results. And there have been very few presidents that have delivered for all of America, including black people, like President Trump. And that's ultimately what a lot of this should come down to. I do think that it's disappointing that our politics has devolved into, you know, calling this person racist or that person racist. But I do understand why Trump is calling Joe Biden racist, because, hey, that seems to be what works with black voters. So at some point, you got to do what you got to do, okay? Because if that's how people are voting, that's what people respond to. It is what it is. But ultimately, Trump has delivered in ways that Democrats like Biden, Obama, etc. have not delivered. And I think that is what people should be paying attention to the most. So, hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.